Hey guys, Aiden Hetler Rogers here of Wymus Preen Reviews, and today we are reviewing Moaning the Blues by Hank Williams. Hank Williams is a country legend who has been cited as an influence for the Beatles, Elvis, Johnny Cash, and many other legends in the music industry. And his career was only 4 years long. He was putting out music from when he was 25 to his death in 1953 at the age of 29. Now, I understand the complete tonal whiplash between Hank Williams and sleep. And you can thank my dad for that. So, I haven't shared this yet. I am trying to do 365 albums in 365 days. And today I was asking my dad if he could recommend me an album. And he said this album. Now, my only exposure to Hank Williams comes from two places: the Walmart Kid and my grandma constantly saying how much she hated him because her parents would make her always listen to him. Before I set on my merry way of listening to this album, my dad sent me a message. He said, if you listen to it at face value, it just sounds like a corny honky-tonk guy. But Hank Williams was a deeply troubled man, an alcoholic, hooked on painkillers, a religious preacher, and a drifter. There was a pain in his voice that cannot be replicated. He sung from the heart. And he's right. Hank Williams' voice is unique. He has a ton of voice cracks in his music, but they're not like teenage, angsty voice cracks. They sound painful. They sound like he's crying. And he was. He was a drug addict and an alcoholic whose wife left him. And all this stuff just piled up to this very emotional sounding voice. And I think that if someone tried to cover it, it would not be doing it justice. One of the funniest things about this album, though, is not in the actual music, it's in the album cover. If you were to tell me that this was one of the saddest albums that I've listened to with this album cover, I wouldn't believe you. I would not believe you. His face is just pasted on this picture of like a cowboy, and I just think that it looks goofy. It kind of acts like misdirection. This album is only 8 songs, so it is 8 songs about Hank Williams talking about his lonesomeness and how he misses his girl and how he wants to kill himself. One of the lyrics on this album is, I'm going to find me a river, one that's cold as ice, and when I find me that river, Lord, I'm going to pay the price. Oh Lord, I'm going down in it 3 times, but Lord, I'm coming up twice. These songs, in my opinion, are the epitome of someone who has lost the will to live. I know that stuff like the downward spiral exists, but just the simplicity of these songs and the raw emotion in Hank Williams' voice makes this one of the saddest songs I've heard. It reminds me of Nick Drake in a way. You know, Nick Drake was far less popular than Hank Williams, but both these artists had this sadness in their music, especially Nick Drake with Pink Moon. Even the songs that sound happy, like Moanin' the Blues and The Blues Come Around, still sound incredibly sad. He misses this person so much. So when you have happy songs that are sad, and then when you have sad songs that are sad, it's just depressing. And the simplicity of it, the instruments take a back seat to Hank. It is mostly just guitar and Hank's vocals. And it gets kind of overwhelming at some points. Like, if I didn't know the stuff that I do know now about Hank Williams, it would just sound like a corny country guy just yodeling. But with this extra context, it really shows how troubled someone can be. And that's my pros to the album. Let's get to the cons. If you ever watched old episodes of The Simpsons on Disney Plus, one thing that you can realize is that the animation quality changes a lot. So one frame might be super smooth animation, and then the next frame might be super blurry and choppy. That kind of applies to this album. Sometimes the quality is very, very good, and then sometimes it just sounds very muddy, like the tape was worn down and beat up. And that kind of, it's not bad, but I really do wish that all the songs sounded like one sound, like very clean or very dirty. I feel like that would kind of have a better consistency. Also, while songs like I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry and Moanin' the Blues are very good songs. In fact, my favorite song on the entire album is Long Gone Lonesome Blues. Some of the songs just I don't feel are good. My least favorite song on the album is The Blues Comes Around. The second song I said sounded happy. I just feel like that it doesn't fit on the album. And I feel like that if it was a 7-song album, then it probably would get boosted a little bit higher. But I think with the inclusion of that song, it kind of brings it down a little. I just feel like that it's a little out of place. It's kind of like a sore thumb. Final reviews. This album gets an 8 out of 10 for me. I think that this is a very enjoyable, albeit a very sad album that doesn't have too many flaws. However, I feel like that the production of it, and I get that it was an older time, but I still feel like that they could have had cleaner production or even dirtier production. I just feel like that the consistency in the production would have been enjoyable. But other than that, this is a very good album. It's a very sad album. And it's a shame that Hank Williams passed away before he could have probably hit his prime. With that, like, subscribe, comment if you like this album. Give me recommendations for another album to review. I'm Moanin Rogers of Wine Spring Reviews. See ya.